everybody.
Hi, guys. Well, from a little warm Salt Lake City, Utah.
Ish. It's Thank God I'm Atheist.
The podcast.
I'm Frank Feldman.
And I'm Dan Beecher.
And coming up today, we're going to be talking about little substitutions people have for belief.
Yeah.
When belief goes away, in like structured church goes away.
We're going to be talking about the human brain and its apparent need for something.
For UFOs.
For that.
Believe it, you have to believe in something.
You have to believe in something.
And I've chosen to believe in humanity.
I don't think that's real. Anyway, we'll talk about that later on in the show. But before that, what stories? Do we have anything interesting to tell these people?
Dan, a very important thing is happening with the Ark. Ark update, everyone.
The Ark of the Covenant. No, the Ark of Kentucky.
This is the Williamstown, Kentucky eyesore.
The Ark encounter, Ken Ham's wet dream.
Come true.
Come true.
Crazy. How did that happen, Dan? Anyway, he's been taken to Twitter, I guess. And he is on board,
with,
so to speak, with taking back the rainbow. Christians need to take back the rainbow, he says, as we do at the Ark encounter. I guess they light it up
in rainbow colors.
Rainbow colors.
We've been hearing this.
Yeah.
This is a theme we've been hearing from pastors all over the place.
Yeah, but now it's hit the Twitter sphere.
Yeah.
And it's big, and there's been a reaction and a lot of making fun of Ken Ham.
What? What could there be to make fun of? There's nothing.
So famously, of course, the rainbow flag has become an international symbol of the LGBT rights movement.
The gays.
And
that's theirs now.
Yeah, Gilbert Baker was the one who put the first gay pride flag together at the behest of Harvey Milk in 1978.
His name was Gilbert?
Or Gilbert.
I just kind of love that. I don't know any Gilberts in my life.
No.
But it sounds like the name of a person who would make a rainbow flag for gay people.
Yeah. And of course, it just took off big time.
Yes.
And it is internationally recognized as sort of the gay symbol now.
It happened.
And so we took it. It's ours.
Yeah.
Back off, bitch.
Well, what's great is, no, keep flying your rainbow flag. We all know what it means. You can think it means something else if you want to.
Right.
And go ahead and fly it, because great.
Well, here's the deal. The rainbow flag is the symbol, right, for the gay rights thing, right?
Correct.
And of course, we throw we gays like to throw the rainbow on a lot of anything, work it into gay like support, community support, community organizations, work it into the logo and this and that, right?
Yeah.
But there's no reason why the Christians can't use the rainbow. If they want to use the rainbow, they can use the rainbow.
It's not trademarked or anything.
Right.
But it means gay.
Yeah.
Go ahead and use it.
But it could also remind them of the covenant that God made with his children, that he would never again flood the entire face of the planet.
Right.
They can also use it for that.
This ridiculous event that never occurred that we write that's in their book. Don't worry, that'll also never occur again.
Right. So that's fine.
Yes,
they can use it.
Of course.
I think the gay community needs to be sort of the bigger person here. Right.
Well,
and
I agree with you.
Please, you can use it. We're not gonna.
It's not exclusive to us.
Yeah.
It happens in the sky.
Rainbow.
Magic.
It's all it is white light.
You should be careful what you wish for,
broken
my friend.
down to the spectrum.
This is a slippery slope you're on, buddy, because let me tell you something. Unicorns are also in the Bible. They're going to try to start taking all of the gay iconographics back.
Well, again, they can use unicorns however they want to. I think that this world and the spectrum is broad enough.
Like
everyone.
Like the spectrum of visible light.
Yes. And we could also use slightly different hues if we wanted to.
Right. You guys get the lavender, the magenta, the crimson, the maybe a nice hunter green. Is that what you'd want? Or
burnt umber?
Yeah, exactly. A fiery coral.
Ooh,
maybe.
Yes. Canary.
Pastels. All the pastels are yours. You get every pastel that there is.
Shush.
Oh, we should, by the way, I do, while we're on the Ark thing, I do want to mention, last week we talked about how the Ark Encounter sold itself to the nonprofit section of its thing as a tax dodge.
Yes.
And then the state said, we're not going to do the story. I guess I'm doing the story. But then the state said, oh, well, if you're going to do a tax dodge, then we're not going to give you the tax credits. And they were like, psych! And they sold it right back. So,
oh my God. They should, if it's traded hands and that was good enough to get rid of the tax credit, they should just get rid of the tax credit.
They really should.
The state should just be like, fuck you guys.
Yeah, the state should be like that, but they're not going to be like that.
That's disappointing.
Yeah.
These people need to be, abused a little at this point.
They really do. Well, I mean, they were trying to avoid, there is that new tax that's going on to, every ticket or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
That they were trying to avoid.
Well, screw them.
Yeah.
What fuckers, What greedy motherfuckers.
Yep. Well,
Homie don't play that,
Well, if Homie's an American, he does. But Ken Hammy shouldn't play that because he's Australian, I think. Australian? New Zealand? I don't know.
New Zealandish?
Are they the same? Maybe.
You just got yourself into some serious
I just
fucking
pissed
trouble.
off our second largest geographic
Yes,
demographic.
you did, Dan. We have...
Sorry, guys.
Why would you do that?
I know that there's a difference between you two. I just haven't figured out what it is yet.
Oh, damn. It's totally different.
I know. Well, invite us down there, and and then we'll know the difference.
And the American ear is so good at distinguishing the difference between the two accents.
Oh my gosh, I can't tell you how many people I've met who are like Australian and come here and tell me that like people assume that they are British, that they are South African, that they
really
Americans. You just talk funny, that's all. What kind of funny talk is that? I don't know.
Yeah, we have a hard time pinpointing accents.
Well,
Except our own.
Own.
Good about our own.
Yeah. All right. Well, speaking of British, I'm going to take us to London, England. We might as well cover this, considering that this is a story that got tweet checked by both Donald Trump and the Pope.
Interesting. Do tell.
We're going to talk about baby Charlie.
Oh, baby Charlie.
Charlie Gard. And this is not a cut and dry question for me.
Okay.
And so I'm going to throw it out to you and see where you land on it.
All right. Tell me the story.
Basically what happened was Charlie was born 11 months ago. He had a rare genetic condition. He was suffering from this and likely going to die.
Mm.
The hospital that he was in London didn't want him to be moved and basically told the parents there's nothing to be done. This child is just going to die. Well, the parents, as parents are wont to do, did some research and discovered an experimental therapy that they thought might help them in the U.S.
Oh.
And were petitioning to get the kid to the U.S. And the hospital in England sued to keep the child there and to not let them take the child to the U.S. to pursue this therapy. Charlie recently dropped everything because Charlie had disintegrated. That's not the right word. Had deteriorated.
There you go.
To the point where he was just going to die, so they stopped pursuing it and just let it go. Charlie passed away.
That's tragic.
Recently. Now this issue was turned into a pro-life issue versus whatever. It was weird. Suddenly, all the religious right was on the side of these parents, and the left seemed to be fighting against these parents.
Okay.
And I'm not comfortable with that. Because frankly, if I see a parent and they're trying to pursue anything they can to keep their child alive, even if the entire medical community except one person says this will not work, you'll just be hurting your baby. Well, the baby's going to die otherwise. I'm all for letting them try whatever they want to try. As long as this becomes an issue when they won't seek medical interventions that they know would work.
Right.
And for religious reasons. But that's not what this is at all.
So the hospital in London was saying, we know what's best for the welfare of this baby.
Right.
And this experimental treatment,
it won't work. There's no point in doing it.
But there are other doctors outside of the hospital saying it could work.
I don't know that there were.
Well, who's doing the experiment?
Well, there's an experiment. They discovered an experimental treatment in the U.S., and they wanted to try it.
Right.
So apparently,
so
I don't know
who are doing the experimental treatment must believe in it.
I guess. I don't know. I mean,
okay. So
I read 3 articles on this thing at least, and I never found anything about what the treatment was or who the treatment was or whatever.
So the entire establishment saying it's not going to work.
At least the establishment in England is saying it's not going to work. But for me, it's like, what does anybody have to lose?
What's the risk to the child at this point, to the baby?
I don't know. Is it worse than death? Because the risk to just doing nothing is there's no risk. He will definitely die with nothing.
Right.
It just doesn't make any sense to me. The condition that he had, by the way, was called encephalomyopathic mitochondrial DNA depletion syndrome.
Oh,
wrap your mouth around that, right?
Yeah,
we all had that.
A bad case of that
in elementary school. We all suffered from EMDNAPS, but
that's terrible. Dan.
DS. Sorry.
Why would you say that?
Yeah, I'm a little confused why this became a religious right versus everybody else question.
Well, because the religious right likes to politicize anything they can.
That's true.
In the name of life.
Yes.
Right? However, they also really like guns. And support the death penalty.
Yeah, usually they're all about fighting for life before it's actually born.
Yeah, they actually fought for some life that was alive.
Right, it hadn't reached 1 yet. It wasn't able to crawl or whatever. But they fought for it, so good job. You guys made it like 11 months out of the womb and still caring about life. So that's progress for them.
Yeah.
The Pope's tweet was, to defend human life above all when it is wounded by illness is a duty of love that God entrusts to all.
Now, I will say this about the Catholics. The Catholics are consistent on the issue of life. So you can't really call them out for the same level of hypocrisy.
Oh, can't I?
Okay.
The president of the Pontifical Academy of Life, one Archbishop Vincenzo Paglia, actually said that Catholic teaching does not require life to be maintained at all costs, and said that people, quote, must recognize the limitations of what can be done.
Okay. But they are anti-death penalty.
Right.
Right. And they're,
and they're anti-abortion, and they're,
anti...
Though I don't think those two are related.
End of life, decision.
In my...
Your own,
what is that
called? Medical
euthanasia.
System. Yeah, they're against all that shit.
Yeah. Although I don't relate abortion to those other things.
No, but they do.
They do.
Yeah. Which is why I feel like there's some consistency in their whole thing, whereas the evangelicals are terribly inconsistent on this
Right.
this kind of issue. It's really gross when like something like this becomes so political.
Mm-hmm.
This was a baby,
Yeah.
you know. With
Franklin
horrible
Graham
condition.
jumped on this bandwagon.
It's nasty. That's
yeah.
just a nasty affair. Opportunistic.
It really
nastiness.
is. Yeah.
Ugh, God, makes me feel gross.
Yeah. Anyway, there you go.
Reminds me of what was the woman down in Florida? Sharon something or other, Susan something.
Terry Schiavo?
Terry Schiavo.
Right.
There was a nest in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right. Dan.
Yes.
There's a bill in the in Congress at the moment.
Okay.
That, if passed, would criminalize speech in this country critical of Israel.
What?
Yes.
That's really important.
It is being there's a lot of support amongst congressional Democrats for it.
Oh my God.
And listen to this. Anyone guilty of violating the prohibitions will face a minimum civil penalty of $250,000 and a maximum criminal penalty of $1 million and 20 years in prison.
That can't be real. That
I found this on Huffington Post.
Oh my God.
And then I did a couple other searches and found the similar articles elsewhere.
That's
so if it's a weird fucking hoax, it's hit multiple news organizations.
And if it is real, like, so who's sponsoring it, and like where is this coming from? You're saying Democrats are supporting this?
Yeah, so there's the Israel Lobby, the American Israel Public Affairs Committee, and some associated organizations have been pushing the Democrats to support this bill.
I mean, so here's the thing. Yes, there's a lot of pro-Israel money in politics,
right?
And so there's a lot of like preferential treatment that Israel gets because of that, and
right.
a lot of really interesting sort of carve-outs just for Israel.
This article compares this group's influence on the Democratic Party to the NRA's, the National Rifle Association's influence on the GOP.
That sounds fair to me. I mean,
it's lunacy.
It's beyond. There's no rational thought left in any of it.
Well, and what's equally disgusting about the whole thing is that it's clearly also just a statement piece to scare a few people who then get prosecuted, who are then, it's going to go to the Supreme Court, and the whole thing gets fucking thrown out because it would never withstand any First Amendment challenge.
Right, exactly.
Never. I mean, trust me, disgusting.
If this happened, I would be the first guy ragging on Israel.
Well, and it's a fairly specific rag as well that you have to do.
Oh, really?
It has to do with...
You have to say Beetlejuice 3 times.
No, it has to do with supporting boycotts specifically against Israel.
I'm totally fine with supporting boycotts against Israel.
Yeah. But that's the real trigger here. Like you can say Israel is dirty and gross and I hate it. Right? You could say that,
right,
and you're probably going to be fine.
And their fashion is bad.
Jesus, get a new look, guys.
Nobody needs that much black in their wardrobe.
We get it.
Right.
It's useful to have black.
Right.
It goes with everything.
Have you heard of a natural fiber?
God. Jesus Christ. Anyway, yeah, I mean, this is felony level.
Wow.
And so forth and so on. So it'll be interesting to see this thing obviously not pass. Right. There's no way it passes.
But the fact that, I mean, so this is one of those sort of bills that's brought to the floor to prove to a lobbyist that you're fighting for them, so that they can go to their constituents and their people and say, look at what we've tried to do, but it was blocked by these evil people or whatever. But like, yeah, no American, regardless of your stance on Israel, regardless of your position as a prominent Jew, whatever, no American should support this bill.
No.
Like, nobody should even want a bill like this to rear its head.
These members of Congress should be laughing these lobbyists out of their office and say, give me a bill I can run.
Right.
I'll run bills that you like that aren't gross violations of some our most basic founding principles.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. You can't even make a law like that about our own country. You can't make a law about, like, you can't defame our own country.
Right.
But you can make a law but you can decide that you can put forward a law that says you can't talk bad about another country.
No, I know.
No.
Yeah. It seems a little too much, but
yeah,
it's happening. It's just shocking.
So gross. Hey, I'm going to move on to even more fun. Do you remember we've talked about the North Carolina church run by one Miss Jane Whaley that was recently
lesbian?
No.
Oh.
No, crazy lady who beat her parishioners and had them beaten and remember there was this whole
that
thing.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You remember all this?
Yes.
She's a nutball, and that whole church is super insular, and no one's allowed to talk to anybody else. It's very culty.
They'll be beaten. Yeah.
It's very culty, and it's very scary, and blah blah blah. Well, that has gotten worse. New allegations have come to light.
How is that possible?
Well, so they had a congregation or a couple congregations in Brazil that
were associated with them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
they had congregations in Brazil, and they would go to young Brazilians and say, "Hey, come join the congregation in America," at which chance these Brazilians would jump.
Right.
Gleefully.
Right.
So on the plane they get, fly over, land on a tourist visa or sometimes a student visa, land in these United States, and immediately the church would take away their passports and their papers and then basically force them into slavery. They would set them to work in construction sites. They would put them to work as janitors. They basically kept them as slave labor. They trafficked them from Brazil.
What?
And then just made them work either for the church or for the businesses owned by higher ups in the church.
This is an inspired woman.
Really, some amazing stuff happening there in North Carolina. Or is it, North Carolina. North Carolina.
Who can really tell the difference?
They're the same thing. It's like Australia and New Zealand. It's the same. So, yeah. No one knows how many people have been through this, but
what?
What
about these people's families in Brazil? They must be where is, Javier or whatever. I can't pull a Portuguese name off the top of my head.
Right. Well, here's one for you. One Mr. Andre Oliveira, who is one of the people who is now speaking out about this. Former parishioners did try to let authorities in the U.S. know, and so far nothing's been done. Now they won't
freedom of religion.
Well,
there's
something.
I think
on.
You need to leave this woman alone. They need to leave her alone. Freedom of religion,
right.
People.
Freedom of religion.
She can enslave whoever she wants to because she owns a church.
It's a tradition in the South.
Yeah.
Enslaving of people from foreign lands for religious with a religious purpose.
Oh my God.
Apparently, they've been, of course, in keeping with their other practices, they've been beating them as well and verbally abusing them.
What horrible! I don't even have anything to say.
Yeah.
I don't have anything to say that isn't just so fucking obvious about how horrible of people these are.
Yeah, it's amazing. And how did they get away with this? How was this possible to get away with for years? How?
My guess is human trafficking is probably a little easier than you think.
must be, and that's
hate saying that.
horrifying.
I hate saying that, but it clearly...
I mean, the fact that it happens...
You can use some intimidation and...
Yeah, you just tell them, look, no one's going to believe anything you say. You don't even speak English anyway.
Right.
You can't tell anybody about this. God wants you to do this, and you can't defy God.
Well, I hope they're not still believing in the cult.
You know, some of them probably do.
They probably were, yeah.
You know, they're wacky things, these human brains. They do some really weird tricks.
Well, imagine being thrown into a foreign country, right? Not having resources,
Yeah.
right, to begin with, and then being in a foreign country, and the people who brought you there are the only ones that you know,
Right.
and they've limited your ability to communicate with the outside world and to it'd be terrifying and weird, and you'd probably fall in line.
Yeah. For their part, the church denies all wrongdoing, including in Brazil. The pastor in Brazil said that they called the former members' accusations, quote, many lies and distorted facts. And the pastors at the World of Faith Fellowship in North Carolina, apparently of them, this pastor said, they are good people. They live God's love, and in trying to help other people, they have been slandered.
Oh.
Isn't that sad?
Well, maybe it wasn't like slavery. Maybe it was more like, diet slavery. Like,
They probably didn't have, like, whips.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, it was probably mostly psychological torture and not physical.
And probably a little bit more like, I don't know, like some indentured servitude or something like that. Not like full-on slavery.
Think of it more like a feudal system where the pastor is your lord and you are...
And he owns you.
You are under their care, protection, and subject to their orders.
Yeah.
What's so wrong with that?
This world operated that way for a very long time.
Chivalry is dead, people.
Literally.
One hopes. Apparently not. Apparently it is not.
Oh, man.
Man alive, this world's getting... It's alarming.
Yeah. Well, here's some dead people.
Oh, good.
Who...
What a great way to start a story.
Who weren't actually dead in the way that the Bible would want you to think that they were dead.
Oh, no.
Have you ever heard of the ancient Canaanites?
Oh, sure. Oh, yeah.
The Bible loves mentioning the Canaanites.
The Canaanites.
Kind of ragging on them, right?
Yeah.
They were sort of these brutish folk that lived in the land of Canaan.
They were the worst.
They were the worst. They were idolatrous.
They were like
wicked.
So gross.
They were just terrible.
And the Lord said unto them.
But they were they had a powerful little system in place, right? Their cities were well fortified.
Oh.
The people were large, apparently, at least according to the Bible. And they sort of lived in the area of Jordan, Lebanon, Syria, Israel, and the Palestinian territories. Right?
Sure. So the Middle East.
Some of it, yeah. A large part of it,
yeah.
Yes. So they... according to the Bible, the Israelites, the ancient Hebrews, wiped out the Canaanites. They were ordered by God.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
You shall not leave alive anything that breathes.
Right, kill them all. That's the Canaanites.
But you shall utterly destroy them. Right? This is God.
And they did it.
And they did it.
They
according
went through
to the Bible.
And killed every last motherfucking one of them.
This is Jericho, right? This is the walls of Jericho, the destruction of Jericho.
Yeah.
Blah.
Something
blah,
about a trumpet in there at some point?
Marching around. I can't remember everything they did. They walked around the city and then
didn't they knock down the wall with the trumpet?
Something. Yeah.
Yeah.
The walls fell. I know that.
Yeah.
And and they were victorious.
Yeah.
And they killed them all.
You're good.
Well, not so according to science.
What? Again? With the science disprove what?
DNA.
Damn you, science.
So they've been able to compare ancient findings of skeletal remains and human remains in the region.
Yeah.
Those would be the bones of Canaanites, right?
Yeah.
And
oh.
So they've been able to compare that with modern populations, and it turns out that modern Lebanese people have share 93% of their ancestry with these Bronze Age samples, right?
They didn't get them all.
They clearly didn't get very many of them at all.
If any of it ever happened, which it didn't, because it's in the Bible, and that's just a bunch of lies.
Right. So this is according to a geneticist at Harvard who was not involved in the study.
Okay.
He says, based on this study, it turns out that people who lived in Lebanon almost 4,000 years ago were quite similar to the people who live there today. And the conclusion is clear, he says. And what's interesting is we don't really know a lot about the Canaanites.
No.
It's possible that most of their writings and whatnot and records were kept on like a parchment or some kind of papyrus or something.
Like floppy disk, and we don't even have the drives to read it anymore.
Basically, yeah. Whereas like we know a lot about the Egyptians because they used, more sort of durable surfaces.
Right. You chisel that thing into stone, we're going to see it.
Yeah, and then we can take a couple thousand years deciphering what it says,
right,
and whatnot.
By the way, I looked up in the book of Joshua what happened to that wall.
Yeah,
we were both right.
Oh,
they circled the walls once per day for the first 6 days, then circled the walls 7 times on the final day.
Wow! And
then blew trumpets of ram's horns.
Oh, those ones.
And shouted.
Yeah,
and down they came.
Yeah,
that sounds totally plausible to me. If you want to take down a wall,
come on, fucking wall.
Keep walk around it a bunch. I mean, a bunch. You got to take a week of walking around this thing.
Well, this is how you're showing God that you're faithful.
It's the stupidest thing.
You support him in whatever he decides to do to the wall.
Yeah, I want to meet more Bible literalists, but just to look in their eye. I don't need to have an argument with them. I just want to see who you are. Because if you've read it at all, you know it's stupid. It's too stupid to possibly be real.
Yeah, well, what were the Jerichoites doing while all this was happening?
Right.
Were they just like, what the fuck is wrong with these people?
Yeah.
What?
I'm guessing they were watching. They're just looking down on them like, they're walking around it again. They're just walking around. What are they doing?
Oh, here's these ram's horns again. Oh, Jesus Christ!
They got the trumpet. Whoa!
These Hebrews and their ram's horns.
Did you feel the wall move? It feels like it's moving. Stop shouting! Stop shouting! You're making our wall come down.
Yeah.
No, that's not how that goes.
It was very loud shouting, Dan.
Yeah, it was, and angry. And I don't know if you've heard the Hebrew language.
It could take down walls.
It'll take down a wall. You get enough of that sound in there, you're going to take down some walls.
Yeah.
I think I just peeled some paint off of my wall here in the room. Just with that. Anyway, I'm going to take us far away from Jerusalem.
Good.
Or from Canaan.
Yeah.
From
the land
Jericho.
of Canaan.
I'm taking us far away from Jericho.
Descendants of Ham.
Yeah. And that they're evil because we know that because Jews don't eat ham. So that's how we know.
You suck so bad sometimes.
How far away do you think we can get from that geographic location? Space!
Oh, I was going to Fairbanks.
The final frontier.
I thought Fairbanks was going to be a good guess.
That was going to be a good guess, but no, we're going light years away.
Space. All right. Let's do it.
As you may be excited about, I'm assuming you know this. There's a new Star Trek that's going to be coming out.
Oh, it's true. Yeah.
Star Trek Discovery.
Yeah.
Will be coming out. And people are getting excited. Trekkies like you
Yeah.
I'm going to point out that you're wearing a Star Trek shirt as we are speaking. So
It's true.
you are you're enough of a Trek nerd that
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I'm a little upset with how CBS is releasing it, but whatever.
isn't it going to like Netflix or something? I thought it was
No, I think it's a CBS thing.
Okay.
Because CBS, so you probably read that there's going to be online distribution. You have to pay to get behind CBS's firewall. in order to
Oh,
watch
of
it.
course.
So you have to pay for this subscription to a stupid service that is pointless.
Yeah, but let's not pretend that you or one of your nerd friends isn't going to do that, and you're all going to get together and watch.
I can think of someone who will probably pay for it.
Yeah. Anywho, going on, there's been a bit of a dust-up about surrounding this new thing. A story came out in Entertainment Weekly.
Is this about them kicking the showrunner off?
No, this is about British actor Jason Isaacs, who plays the captain of a ship, ad-libbed a line, as actors sometimes are wont to do. The line he ad-libbed was, "Oh, for God's sakes."
That's terrible.
At which point, the writer stopped filming and told him not to say that line.
Right, there's no God in this universe.
And he said, "Wait, I can't say God?" He said, "I thought I could say God or damn, but not goddamn." To which the writer said, No. It's not about the swearing element of it.
Right.
There's no God in this universe.
Right.
Yeah. Gene Roddenberry
Yeah.
specifically created this world to exist post-religion.
Yeah.
Well, I guess a lot of people didn't realize that.
No.
So
It's one of the hallmarks of the show. It's why it was such a delightful thing to watch as a young budding atheist.
yeah. Well, there are some people who are angry about it, but yes, this offhand anecdote was caused a bit of a bit of a do.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I was always a little uncomfortable with Star Trek V, where they
The
go,
movie?
where they go and like they're looking to find God. They don't actually find
Oh yeah,
the real God, but they're like all sort of. There's a few of them who are like on this mission, including Spock's brother. I can't forget his name.
Yeah, why?
Right.
I mean, and why?
And he wanted to go
why
find
would they
God.
just say God instead of a God? Because you'd think that, like, yeah, it's annoying. That's an annoying thing.
Yeah, and so I had problems with that, but I mean, you heard it. Right? You said the line, and I knew immediately, and I hadn't seen the story.
Right.
Immediately, what the problem would be,
Yep.
and
So-
I would have said the same thing had I been on that set.
Yeah.
Running it, you know.
Yeah, they don't want that. They want nothing to do with your God.
No.
So we can only. I mean, Gene. It sounds to me like Roddenberry has dreamt of a utopia.
Well, it's a post-scarcity economy,
Right.
That is atheist,
Right. And
and
God
it's-
bless him.
Yeah,
I
and
can't
it's-
wait.
It's beautiful.
I won't live to see it, but
No.
one hopes that it will.
Nor
actually
will I.
occur.
In the, I am younger than you. You always forget that.
Oh well, that's true. But Beecher men live forever. So
Yeah, oh, that's nice.
he's 1 month younger than I am, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, but you always hit the good ones first.
That's true.
Yeah.
I was 40 before you.
Yep.
I blazed that trail. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you have anything you'd like to say about Star Trek or being 40 or whatever, please feel free to write into us, podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
Or you can call and leave us a voicemail message. The telephone number is 424-666-8442.
Yeah, we tested that line to make sure it was still working because y'all ain't calling in, but feel free to do so. We like it when you call in.
Yeah.
Or you should also go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/TGIAtheist.
And while on Facebook, search for the TGIA Members Only Lounge and request to join. It's a closed group, but we'll let you in.
We will indeed.
Hey, Dan.
Yeah.
You like listening to crazy, right?
Oh, it's It's one of my favorite pastimes. We've got some for you folks.
This is Wayne Allen Root. Who is Wayne Allen Root?
He's just a radio guy. He's a commentator. He's a conspiracy theorist sort of guy. And he is. Oh, he nails it on this one.
Well, yeah, he's got something offensive to say, and he says it.
Brilliant Donald Trump cements his support among every conservative, every Christian, every evangelical Christian, and every straight white male in America. He bans transgenders from serving in the U.S. military. A small issue, an unimportant issue, but a huge issue that says it all. We are back. America is back. Thank God for Donald Trump. Thank God for common sense. And you're talking to a guy who's ultra conservative like Ronald Reagan or Donald Trump or my hero Jack Kemp, Barry Goldwater on every economic issue. But on most social issues, I'm libertarian. Do whatever you want in your bedroom. I don't care. But we've had it with this transgender issue. Stupidest thing I've ever heard. You want to be a transgender? Be a transgender. No one's against you. You could be a transgender. How's that for liberal? I don't care. You don't bother me. Do whatever you want in your bedroom, but you can't go in the military. You cannot serve alongside the men and women who are fighting to save America. Don't want to be in the battlefront or in the foxholes with he, she. Just the way it is. Common sense. Destroy the fighting spirit. Destroy the morale. Donald Trump says no more. I spoke to the generals. I spoke to the admirals, and they don't want transgenders. So that's just too bad. You don't get to fight in the military. You don't have a right. Where did the U.S. Constitution say you have a right to not know if you have a penis or vagina and sit in a foxhole and shoot people? Because you don't have what it takes to sit in a foxhole and shoot people. And the other men who don't want to sit in a foxhole with you. They're scared of you. They're not scared of murdering communists. They're not scared of crazy, murdering, set you on fire Muslims. They're scared of you who don't know if you have a penis or a vagina. That's who scares most straight men. Sorry to tell you. They don't want to be near you. It's like a freaking Nightmare at Elm Street. If they see a bunch of transgenders walking towards them who don't know if they're a man or a woman, and they look like a woman but talk like this, or look like a man and talk like this, you got to be joking. That's a military fighting force? And how about this one? They get in the army just so that you, the taxpayer, can spend $150,000 to change their penis to a vagina. Well, no more. Those days are done. Real men are in charge of the United States of America again, not the sissies called liberal men. Those days are over. The military is for real men because your children's lives are on the line.
Oh,
we're back. America's back.
Oh, thank God.
Thank God America's back. Thank God for Donald Trump.
Real men in charge.
Oh, yeah.
Donald Trump is a real man.
Not these sissies called liberals who are... Yeah, we're sissies. Oh. Me sitting here being not afraid of someone who is trans, that's being a sissy.
Yeah.
He just went into a rant about how these conservatives are afraid, literally afraid of transgendered people.
But they're real men.
But we're the sissies.
Right.
I'm the sissy.
Yeah.
Which, by the way,
well,
Wayne Allen Root, I could fucking take you in a heartbeat, you old bastard. So, let's try the sissy thing. Try it out. See what happens.
Also, I guarantee you there are few sissier men out there than Donald Trump.
Right?
That man is a fucking prima donna sissy.
If he got a splinter, he'd cry for a month.
Yeah. Let's not fool ourselves about how butch this man is.
Oh, no. He's a real man. He's willing to stand up against people who don't know if they have a penis or a vagina.
I'm pretty sure people know.
No, they don't know.
Transgender people know.
They look down and I can't figure it out. I can't tell if I've got a penis or a vagina. Didn't he say vagina? Is that what you heard?
Something like that.
I'm pretty sure I heard vagina.
And also, that's not the definition of gender.
No.
That doesn't decide anything.
No. And they all know what they've got. Like, there's this man, I mean, he's obviously being purposefully disingenuous and, like, trying to confuse whatever the issue.
No, I think he's this stupid.
But he is also
stupid.
Really stupid.
Well, yeah, because this is how he decides to go.
Do whatever you want in the bedroom. This isn't about the bedroom.
Not a bedroom issue at all.
This is not sexuality.
No.
Nothing to do with it. Well, there you go. Wayne Allen Root is very happy with the direction things are going. I don't know. This whole transgender ban from the military is not. That's a horrific thing that I think will probably not hold up.
No,
there will be one court case and it'll just be struck down.
Yeah, I heard the actual number. I can't remember what the actual number was of transgender
trans people in the military.
Trans people in the military, yeah, and they it's higher, much higher than I would have thought.
Thousands,
like
tens of thousands,
yeah,
or a 10 of thousands, or something.
Somewhere, yeah, in the low tens of thousands, possibly. Right. And that really surprised me. And I think that to target people who are, doing one of the tougher things there is in life,
and being a
member of the military is no cakewalk.
And if you suck at it, they will get rid of you.
Yeah.
So they're doing a fine job.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of trans people in the military who are doing a good job.
Yeah.
But we need to get rid of them. And by the way, just to be clear, Trump talked to no generals about this.
No.
Trump claimed, he tweeted that he did. No. He talked to zero generals about this.
No current generals.
They all are fine with it. Everybody's dealt with it.
Yeah.
The soldiers in the foxholes, apparently there are foxholes still, and the soldiers who are in them, they're dealing. It's okay. Anyway.
It's military 101. You have to dig a foxhole.
First thing you do, you get off of the helicopter and you take to digging. Wherever you land, you just get that little shovel out and you start digging. Find a fox. Dig a hole. Oh, Lord. Well, we had a couple folks write into us. Not a lot of communication from the outside world. We do still have listeners, I think. But not a lot of them wrote into us this week. We did have Anna Lynn write in. You'll recall that you and I were talking about growing up as young Mormon boys, and we mentioned getting confused about presidents of the LDS Church versus presidents of the United States of America.
Yeah, because they all have old-timey names.
Right. And I had mentioned, I think, Wilford Woodruff. But what's funny is I think
somebody who's obviously the Mormon.
Right. Yeah. And then I realize that Anna Lynn has written into us and made me realize that that's not why he jumped to my mind. He jumped to my mind for another reason, because I'm in the same boat as Anna Lynn. Here's what she wrote. Hey, Frank and Dan, at the end of the last episode, you talked about confusing presidents of the church with presidents of the United States. The two I always confused were Woodrow Wilson and Wilford Woodruff.
Oh, yeah.
And I said my husband I said that to my husband just as you said Woodruff was so distinct. Just thought it was funny. Yeah. That's why he jumped to my mind, because I made that same confusion.
So you were confused about what you were confused about.
I was confused about my own confusion. The confusion of me was confused.
You were really confused.
I was so confused. But yes, I always got those mixed up, because what are the odds that there are going to be two double W guys with weirdo names?
Yeah.
We had a president named Woodrow. I'm just going to point that out. The United States.
What a great name.
Yeah. Anyway, yes, Anna Lynn, thanks for writing in. We also had, brace yourself, kids, if you think my jokes were bad. St. Bill has written us a joke. He said, so we were talking about the This Is the Place story of Brigham Young entering the Salt Lake Valley. He said, after listening to your story about Brigham and This Is the Place, I thought I might share a story as I heard it in college. After months of travel, the scouts came running back to the covered wagon where Brigham and his family were traveling. We found it, the perfect place where God has chosen for us. It's a beautiful, fertile valley with clear freshwater lake filled with fish of all types. All we will have to do is rest and catch fish and fuck all day. And Brigham smiled and suddenly heard his wives giggling in the wagon. He looked at the scouts and said, "Salt the lake." And that's how the Great Salt Lake got salty, because Brigham Young didn't want to fuck all of his wives, I guess.
Yeah.
But
did you see them?
I've seen some of them.
Some of those pictures are harrowing.
comely, handsome women, one and all.
What was Mark Twain's thing about the Mormon women?
I don't know.
Oh, he had a line about the Mormon women.
Oh. Do you remember it?
It was something about how charitable the Mormon men must be or something. it was,
That's funny.
I can't remember the full gist of it.
Yeah. Something along that. There you go. Well, we had some folks. Do we have some people to thank?
We do have people to thank. Actually, we have a handful of people to thank.
Oh.
Actually, I believe we got something wrong last week.
Oh, dear.
So there's a correction. We made a big deal about James
coming back as
our Lord
being
and Savior.
Resurrected, as it were.
Yeah. And I think we were wrong about that. Actually, I was looking more closely, and the last name of this James is different from the other one. So our big to-do last week, that was for a different James.
We didn't properly thank the actual
the
Lord.
actual James.
We were worshiping the wrong Lord and Savior.
Exactly.
Oh my God, James, we beg your forgiveness.
However,
what?
This week, old James,
former God of our hearts,
has risen from the dead.
A new resurrection.
And has joined James.
What?
The two Jameses, they're tied.
Praise be!
So, thank you, James and James.
Wait.
James squared.
Are we polytheists now?
Oh, I guess we are.
We have two Lords and Saviors.
We have the binity.
A binity. A duality.
A duality. But nonetheless, so thank you to them. And thanks go to 3 new faithful members. We have George, Einer, and Matthew. And then we have a new venerable, WTF.
Oh.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
What
and then
Frank?
What the And then we have a new, I don't know what this level is. I lost my cheat sheet. So you are awesome and amazing and something very holy, Christopher.
Is Christopher like a pope?
No, it's not.
It's not
quite
pope. Not pope level.
I know it's not pope. Beatified.
Beatified or venerated or something.
Venerable.
Okay, we suck at this.
Faithful, venerable, and beatified. I think he's beatified.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So thank you, Christopher.
You guys.
This is amazing. This was an amazing week.
It is a holy week.
Yeah.
It is a week of holy celebration.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much. Your support, your generous, kind support is so appreciated. And we now have multiple Jameses to worship. So,
and if you would like to get in the running, you can do so. Go visit our website, thankgodimatheist.com, and look for the support tab.
We have been asked at times how much it would take to unseat our lords and saviors. We don't reveal that. It is not something that we can actually reveal, but if you would like to, I say make a run at it. We had Angela as our Lord and Savior for like a hot second.
Yeah.
And then the Jameses came roaring back at us.
Yeah, there.
So Angela may make another bid for this. It is a hotly contested race for Lord and Savior right now. But we have 2 of them. So,
it's amazing.
So we bless you all in the name of James and James. Amen.
Amen.
Well, Frank.
Yeah?
You sent me an article.
I did, yeah.
That I found very interesting, that we both were very interested in. This is from the New York Times.
Yeah.
The headline of which, I'll just read the headline.
Yeah, because it sums it up perfectly.
Because I didn't read the rest of the article.
Shut up.
The headline says, "Don't believe in God? Maybe you'll try UFOs."
Yeah.
And it struck a chord with us.
Yeah.
Because one of the strange phenomena that I've seen, and you've observed it in others as well, is this phenomenon of leaving organized religion, whatever church you belonged to, and then replacing it
Yeah.
with some other thing.
Yeah.
I'm sure we have listeners now that believe in some thing
Yeah.
that isn't God.
Yeah.
They are atheists, but they've got something going on.
But there's no real evidence for it.
Right.
Not in any real sort of way. I mean, the UFO ones is a really interesting one because, they're quote unquote sightings.
There are lots of people who claim to have seen something that cannot be explained. But here's the thing.
A large number of people who've never seen a UFO but still believe in the UFOs.
I'm going to admit something to you.
What's that?
I have seen a UFO.
Did you now?
I have.
Really?
Only in the actual sense of what those letters stand for, which is to say, I could not identify the flying object that I saw.
Right.
So, as long as you take this approach, which is to say, I saw an unidentified flying object.
Take the agnostic approach.
Right. And say,
about
look,
UFOs.
It's not identified.
Uh-huh.
I don't know what that was. It was strange.
Uh-huh.
I don't know what it was. But no.
It's when you get
what
into
we're
the
talking
Area
about
51 and all of that.
is that people are establishing beliefs around these things.
Right.
And it's not just UFOs, of
Taking
course.
conclusions, yeah.
You were telling me about a guy you worked with.
Yeah, well, yeah, a couple people actually that I work with who recently did an ayahuasca ceremony.
Ooh, fancy.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, this is a drug
Yeah.
that is made of plants from South America.
Yeah. And it induces a fairly intense hallucinogenic experience,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
And so I was kind of just asking them. One of them had a fairly horrible. He doesn't even want to call it a horrible experience. A very difficult experience. A very hard time on ayahuasca. Brought up a lot of things. I mean, they both talk about the work that they need to do, around the things that were brought up.
Well, I'll tell you, I've met a lot of people who have done ayahuasca, and this is a thing. You don't do this drug just sort of on your own.
No.
There's a ceremony involved, and there's a shaman there. There's a guy there, a guide guiding you through it, and there's people, helpers, and buckets.
Yeah. What are the buckets for?
Because everybody pukes.
Yeah. Purges, as they call it.
I call it vomiting, and
Yeah.
it sounds not very fun.
Yeah. But nonetheless, so he had a rough time, and then the other coworker had quite a beautiful experience. She said it was amazing,
right,
and powerful, and brought up some things that she feels like she has to address and work on. But
none of that do I have a problem with yet. You haven't said anything to which I would object.
Yeah, the word that gets me that's always associated with this is the shaman. And shamans, that's a word with some baggage.
It's a loaded word, and it almost always carries with it some sort of spiritual element.
Yeah.
And when you ask them to explain what spiritual means, I don't think they'll have an answer for that. The word spiritual is thrown around a lot, and often thrown around by atheists who have abandoned their religion. And then I say, so what do you mean by spiritual? And I don't ever get a satisfactory answer. I'm never satisfied. Now, maybe they're satisfied with their answer, but I am never satisfied with, I am spiritual but not religious. Well, what is spiritual?
What are they saying that you don't like?
Usually I get something about, I feel connected. I feel some sort of connection to other people, and
as you should,
to the universe and to the earth or whatever. And I'm like, okay, but you're applying a meaning to that.
All right.
And nobody, it's just this feeling, or it's always incredibly, I don't know. I feel like I'm expected to know what the hell it means, and I never can put my finger on it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think that if I think it would be nice to be able to use that word to sum up a combination of awe and reverence that one can experience in various different ways. In nature.
Okay, I love nature, and I regularly go into our mountains or look at our mountains here in Salt Lake City and just am struck.
Yeah.
By their beauty and their majesty.
Right.
But I don't know. But like to assign meaning to that beyond there were earthquakes that pushed tectonic plates up.
I don't think that you have to ascribe meaning. I think that you have to, that when you think about your place in sort of the universe, right? And the humbling, reality of how insignificant we are and how small we are,
right.
and what a tiny, tiny, impossibly small dot of the universe we occupy.
Right.
Right. Like, I think I don't know, like this, and I'm not even really describing my own sort of state of mind, but I'm saying, wouldn't it be nice to have a catch-all word that could collect up all of these things that we feel that help us, that define this strange human condition.
Right? Sort of existential angst of humanity.
Yeah.
There's this...
But the word spiritual never meant that for me when I had it in my active daily use.
Right.
Right? In a religious setting.
Right.
That's not what it was. I knew what that
because the base of the word is spirit, and that doesn't seem like.
So we're running into a situation where we need a new word.
Yeah, maybe. But I mean, even acknowledging that, one of the things that you and I don't understand, and we've talked about this before, and this is just where our brains go. Mm-hmm. I don't think that we understand I think that there are different kinds of human brains, and some of those brains all but require a belief system larger than just whatever's available to our understanding. There needs to be something, and that's part of what this article in the New York Times talks about studies that talk about like people who do not frequently attend church are twice as likely to believe in ghosts as those who are regular churchgoers.
Really?
They're more likely. The more likely they are to endorse empirically unsupported ideas about UFOs, the less religious they are.
Really?
Yeah.
What about like all this like anti-vax stuff? How does that work in?
I do not know. That is not listed here. But this does talk about a series of studies that demonstrate a link between low religiosity and belief in advanced alien visitors. I think that's fascinating. It's weird. And the theory, I think, of this author, at least, is that certain people need to believe in something beyond what is obvious and explainable, beyond what is evident,
right?
In this life. There needs to be more for these
mystery.
People. Yeah, but what's funny is, well, no, I'm going to challenge that word mystery, and the reason is that I think when you only are willing to acknowledge what is evident, almost everything is a mystery, because what is evident is just a small. We know that there's more out there, that there's more to this universe than what we have yet perceived, and what it is, we choose not to guess at.
Right.
So it is mysterious in the truest sense to us, to people like us, whereas other people decide to establish a belief. They decide to solve the mystery by coming up with something. So I'd say there's less mystery, because for you and I, the question of whether or not there's intelligent life elsewhere in the universe is a mystery. It is mysterious. We have no solution to that yet.
Right.
For them, it's not a mystery. They've just decided to believe it. So I don't know. I think that there's a very interesting, like, some people just have a need to believe things.
I believe in life on other planets.
You have an established belief?
I believe so.
Okay.
Well, but it's not like
I believe in the possibility. I believe very strongly in the possibility of
the life takes no specific form, right?
Do you believe that they've visited here?
No. Because, well, again, lack of evidence.
Right. Well, it seems then arbitrary that you would believe that it...
Because it seems impossible that there could be this grand expanse.
Yeah.
And there not be life out there.
Yeah. And it does seem like, right, like when you hear physicists talking about, like, odds on this thing.
Right.
Mathematically, it seems likely that there is intelligent life somewhere else.
Right.
However, then there was the physicist, I don't remember the name, who just said, then where are they? Why haven't we heard from them? Why haven't we seen any evidence of them?
There's a lot of good reasons why we wouldn't.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it could be that that they're evolving as we speak and we're just the first.
Could be that we are evolving at the same rate or slower or whatever, but the distances
are too great.
Yeah,
they're 65 million light years away.
Yeah. And all the hopes of being able to travel faster than light are just hopes.
Right. So far, nothing more.
Right.
And then there's also the possibility that we're the last.
Right.
They may have already all run their course and we're the last ones.
Right.
Who knows?
Right.
Any of these are possibilities. Which is why I say to establish a belief is, for my mind, it doesn't work.
Right.
Because it's so much smarter. It's so much more, not smarter. It makes more sense to my brain to just live in the we don't know.
Right.
And become as comfortable as we can with the we don't know.
I cannot say that we know.
Right.
That's not what I'm saying.
Right.
What I'm saying is, considering everything, I have to side on, well, yeah, I guess I believe that it's out there. Right.
Huh.
Like,
all right.
Right? Because it's like, and I know there's no evidence for it.
Yeah.
But I think it's a more tenable position that there is.
That's an interesting thing. See, in my mind, it's more tenable to say, to just live in, we don't know, and not establish a belief one way or the other.
Okay.
But the conclusion
to draw on the issue, in my mind, is that there are, who knows, full-on civilizations, advanced, primitive,
right,
not intelligent at all, just,
right,
either some kind of globulous whatever, right?
It's also really possible that there could be an insanely advanced civilization well beyond our technological capabilities that's just not interested in anybody else.
Yeah.
That's just interested in themselves and they just live their lives.
Yeah.
But this gets to, I think, what this article is on about.
Right.
Because human beings, the way we have evolved, the brains that we have, can't live with just this is it. We need there to be more. We want there to be a grander thing.
Right. But this is not about a grander thing. This is about there has to be life out there.
No, but I'm moving on to a larger point, which is that, like, the reason that we as a species wouldn't be those aliens that are just concerned with themselves and stick to that.
Right.
Because we just need to be going, there must be more and we have to know. And we are searchers. We are explorers. We are constantly looking.
Right.
It's not necessary.
Right.
There's no need for it, but it's just what we do.
No.
And I think that that's part of what happens when someone abandons religion, when they discover religion not to be true.
Right.
They suddenly, like, flail about because they want something more than just the earth under their feet and the air.
Right. Well, they're looking for some kind of meaning.
Well, meaning, yeah, meaning
and
big
connection thing. And answers. I think you're right about that. That it is less mysterious to believe in alien visitation.
Yeah,
because
then at least it's
because there's a lot of answers that a lot of questions that you had to get answers to.
Yeah,
right. Because, like, if there's alien visitation, then whatever life is out there is advanced and has advanced technology and can traverse the impossibly vast spaces between stars.
Right.
Like there's a lot of answers there.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of things that have been worked out for you with just that one simple assumption.
Yeah. If you just believe that we have been visited by aliens, you are suddenly like, there's a lot inherent in that.
Yeah. Now, what form they take and all of that can still be up in the air. But
whether they're green or blue, we don't know.
We don't know.
We know they're one of those two colors. That's what color aliens are, is either green or blue. But we don't know which one they are.
What about dark brown?
No.
They are never dark brown, are they?
No. No. They're not even like
They
any of our flesh tones.
They have to be exotic.
Are out.
They have to be extraterrestrial.
Yeah. I mean, can you imagine if James Cameron had made Avatar critters just our flesh tones? It would be ridiculous. Well, the whole concept would have been silly at that point.
Well, there would have been some Uncanny Valley stuff that happened with that one. You know the Uncanny Valley.
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
The Uncanny Valley. So the first version of what cartoon, like early animated show, like movie, right? It came out, and all the test audiences were like, "There's something really fucking weird with this show." Oh, I think it was like the Shrek movies. Right?
Oh, really?
Because the people were people.
Okay.
Right? And they had made them look a little too people. Right? And so they had to go back and kind of cartoon them up a little bit. Because they were they were close, but not close enough. They weren't accurate enough that people were just fucking creeped out looking at these approximations.
That happened with that with the Tom Hanks train.
Yeah, that one's super fucking creepy.
Movie too.
Yeah, really creepy.
Yeah, because what we don't want is people who look too much like people, but not enough like people.
Yeah, and so the Uncanny Valley is this. So as the renderings of humans get better and better and better, there's this point where it drops off into this uncanniness that is just, it's very unsettling.
Right.
And you have to get past the Uncanny Valley to basically perfect representations of human faces. And it's actually, to be honest, both Princess Leia and whatever his general dude's name is in the what was that thing called?
Not Rogue One.
Rogue One.
Was it Rogue One?
Yeah. At the end of it, well, the general through the whole thing, Tarkin, right? Through the whole thing, he creeped me the fuck out.
Yeah.
And then Princess Leia was really fucking creepy.
Young Leia, who, because and you don't know what it is about it. Like, there's no way to pinpoint what it is that's not working with that face.
Incredibly good renderings.
And yet, they didn't.
I mean, that looked like the actor who played Tarkin.
Yeah, it really did.
99.8% looked like him.
He's all the way there.
Something wrong.
And yet, we can't do it. Anyway,
we spent a lot of time on the Valley.
But the point is, there are 2 points to be made here.
Oh, yeah?
One is that aliens are blue or green. That's what we were getting at with all of that. But the other point is, I feel like we as a culture need to sort of come to terms with this with how we deal with the need that many humans seem to have for a belief in something.
It's tough, right? Because you want us just to be able to not.
I would like that. That's what feels the rightest. I mean, we're supposed to be the skeptics. We're supposed to be the ones that don't believe until we have a good reason to believe.
Yeah.
But we're not. We're still people.
Yeah.
And so I don't think we are offering any solutions here today.
No, I think what we're saying is, pull your head out, people.
Stop believing in aliens, assholes.
And if that made you angry, please send us an email.
Please write to us. You can write to us on the emails podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
And if you really, really, truly believe, you can always call us. The telephone number is 424-666-8442.
The truth is out there, people. Go to the Facebook page to find it. Facebook.com/TGIAtheist and click the like button.
And while on Facebook, search for the TGIA Members Only Lounge and request to join. It's a fantastic community of like-minded people, and it's moderated.
And they all believe in aliens. So that's interesting.
That is interesting.
Hey, we got some people to thank. Mackenzie, who does our Facebook page, is amazing and wonderful, and thank you so much for that, Mackenzie. And thanks also to Danny, Sarah, and Amy for their fine work as the moderators of the Members Only Lounge. They actually put in a lot of behind-the-scenes time, and I really appreciate it.
Me too.
Yeah.
And thank you to the Red Rock Hot Club and Gordon Johnston for the use of their music.
Yeah! What fun music it is!
Woohoo.
And thank you, dear listener, for tuning in. We really appreciate it when you do.
Bye-bye.